It's fall! It's fall. It's officially fall here. Hey, what's up? I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. It is the spooky season, but if you know anything about me, I like spooky, but not like too spooky things most of the time. So I thought about getting together a recommendations video. That's what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about it, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do a recommendations of books to read for the spooky season that aren't too spooky. You know, for wimps like myself during the spooky season, or just books that are kind of like atmospheric and work for the spooky season. You know, if you're just looking for recommendation, I just need to stop babbling. I'm gonna have this kind of sorted by genre a little bit. Some of these obviously will cross different genres, but for the most part, like the main genre kind of deal. So I'll have those kind of split between that. I think I'm going to start with historical just because it's like the first thing on my list, and the first recommendation I have in the ultimate like fall spooky vibes is The Historian. This is great because it very much has kind of like a dark academia vibe in a way, and also we're hunting down Vlad the Impaler, who has become a vampire. There's like a secret society involved, and I just think that this is like the ultimate spooky season read. It is a thick boy. It is quite thick, but it is worth it. This is about a woman who is recounting the time that her father is recounting the time that he came across this notebook that just appeared one day and basically put him like kind of in like the Order of the Dragon, I think is what it was called. And basically, he has now been given the secrets of the fact that Vlad the Impaler is still alive and he is a vampire. And then her father disappears. So now we are also following her as she goes to hunt down her dad and also Vlad the Impaler, but there's all kinds of like ancient libraries involved. Oh, great. I read this last year for the vampire books and it was honestly my favorite. So then a YA pick for this would be the Dark Days Club, which is called the Lady Helen series, and this takes place in the 1800s, and this is about a girl who finds out that she can see demons. She can see like these demon things, and she now has become like a demon hunter, and demon hunting in the 1800s is just my absolute favorite thing. Why is this not a thing all the time? Why are there like no books about this? It is absolutely fantastic. The society itself, you know, this just is like rainy and dreary, and we're constantly on the lookout for like these demon things. And then she is also trying to learn how to kind of uphold her position in society. She's supposed to be very ladylike as she is currently training to take down demons. So it is absolutely fantastic. Lord Carlston, the one who is training her, is forbidden because he has possibly murdered his wife. Oh, it's fantastic. I always feel like this is so slept on here on BookTube because it was really big. It went out as kind of like this PR package when it came out, and then no one ever talked about it again, but it was so good. It's so good. Alright, then on to kind of my sci-fi picks. I do have one that is specifically horror sci-fi, and that is The Hollow Places. I read this last year. I do think that it has since gotten a little bit more hype. When I first read it, I hadn't really seen anyone else read it, and this is about a woman who is kind of just down on her luck. You know, things have just been not going her way, so she goes to help out her uncle. He is in surgery and just needs someone to help take care of his museum. His museum is full of weird shit. Okay, just full of some really weird shit. And there's like taxidermy and just all this really random stuff. So one day she comes across a hole in the wall and decides that she needs to investigate this because like she's in charge of this place. And when she goes to investigate it, there is this whole other realm on the other side. And it is a creepy as hell realm, and there's all these horrors that are back there, and she just like doesn't know what's happening. And kind of loses like sense of time. So she comes back through, decides to patch it up, and like that will be the end of it. Of course it's not. There's a lot more to this, but the realm itself is just absolutely ooky spooky. The last portion of this is so tense and has just so much action, and it was quite good. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I will say. I felt kind of meh about it, but some people have absolutely fucking loved this book. They go hard for this book, so Another one is kind of horror. It's more dystopian, and that is The Girl in Red. Christina Henry is known for doing fairy tale retellings, but they're like horror fairy tale retellings. And so this one is Little Red Riding Hood, obviously, but this takes place in a dystopian world. We follow our main character. She's a very strong-willed main character. She is like, I should be the thing that everyone fears in these woods kind of deal. She is disabled, and she is so kick-ass. But basically, this plague has come across the land, and it's every man for themselves in this world. She comes across some men, obviously, who like want to take advantage of her and her situation, and she is very kick-ass and very stern, but shows a lot of empathy when she needs to. And this was also just a very action-packed book, and I just love the kind of like dystopian setting, but also the fact that this is like a fairy tale retelling, which is very fitting, I feel like, for the spooky season. And I really, really love this one. Christina Henry, I enjoy a lot of what she does, so if you're looking for anything else, I would say check into what she's done, because her horror retellings are quite good. Kind of along a similar vein, the fantasy, I would say one of my first picks is probably The Unkindness of Magicians, and Kat Howard, one of my all-time favorite writers. If you like Neil Gaiman's writing, Kat Howard will be right up your alley. Gavin, I worked it in. But An Unkindness of Magicians takes place in a modern city, and basically it is this big tournament that happens between these secret kind of wizarding houses, and they have to put forth a competitor for these games. And on top of that, there's also murders happening, and they're trying to figure out that. There's also kind of a dark part of this society where there is kind of like this outcast group of people, and we are following one of the people that have been kind of placed in this situation and how they're trying to get out. And so there's a lot of different rules, and it's really intense. Basically, it seems like they're like fighting for the death at times, and the magic system is just overall really interesting. Of course, I love the murder mystery aspect, but this was just such a gripping tale. So if you're looking something that has a more magical aspect to it, I really enjoyed this, but still has like an underlying dark plot. My other fantasy pick is The Queen of Blood, and this is the first in a fantasy series, and this is about a young woman who is training to become an heir of like the kingdom. Basically, there are these malevolent spirits in the world. Everything has a spirit, and the problem is these spirits want to kill all humans. Only the queen holds the power to really control these spirits, but of course the queen is still only human at the end of the day, which is why they train a bunch of heirs to possibly take her place. And we follow a young woman as she is training and traveling to go to the palace and hopefully fix this malevolent spirit thing for good, but it is at times of intense and gory and just very interesting. There's a lot of political intrigue, and it is good stuff. And then, of course, would it be the spooky season without some mystery thriller recommendations? These are two that I just like, I love. I feel like I've talked a lot about, so this is probably not new news to you, but The Weight of Lies, absolutely fantastic. This is about a woman who, her mother is like famous and has a cult following behind her. She has written all these books about a murder that took place, and her cult following, it kind of has like all these threads and these websites and stuff dedicated to like different theories about her books, and basically have come to said that the books are based around a murder that really happened, and they think that she did it. So the main character we follow is actually her daughter, and she's like fed up with her mother's shit. Like, she's like done with her. She wants nothing to do with her shit. So she decides that she's going to find out once and for all if these rumors are true, and she's going to write a book herself. So she goes to the place where all of this happened, where all these events took place, and wants to find out if these things really happened. So she goes there to kind of just stay there, kind of see if she can figure out any secrets or whatnot, and just, you know, try to get some inspiration herself. But what ensues is a lot different than what she was expecting, and honestly, if you would have told me that this was going to have some of the most suspenseful scenes I have ever read, I was not going to believe you, because I thought this was just kind of like a basic murder mystery thing. But no, shit gets intense, and we are like trying to fight for our lives at different points throughout this, and I honestly just really love this trope of like kid of like a famous writer. I don't know what it is about it, but I really like this, and I wish I could find more of it, but this one was so stinking good, and not enough people have read it. I don't think I've seen anyone talk about it. And will this be like a recommendations video if I didn't mention my all-time favorite book, which is If We Were Villains? I'm sure that you've seen this by now, but if you haven't read it, this is your sign. Go fucking read it. It's amazing. Okay? Theater school, and we follow a group of characters who have put on like a Shakespeare play. They've been best friends for a while. We get to see their different friendship dynamics, but one day one of them is found dead in the lake, and we don't know who has done it. Except for the main character that we follow has taken the blame for this and has done his jail time. He is now getting out of jail, and the investigator that was on the case at the time, who was retired, meets with him and is like, I know you didn't do it, so who did it? Who did it? So we are recounting what happened and what led up to what happened, and who killed who thought that their friend was better off dead. And it is a dark academia feel, and there is Shakespeare involved, and it is amazing. The atmosphere is unparalleled, in my opinion. So, and the writing is amazing. The ending, chef's kiss, best ending of all time, in my opinion. So, quickly, a middle grade pick would be Gone, the Raggedy Witches, and this is about a girl who one day witnesses as her mother is kidnapped by raggedy witches, and so she has to go into the realm of these raggedy witches and hunt down her mother, but these witches are absolutely terrifying. This world that she has stumbled into is not very nice, and there are a lot of creepy things happening, and honestly, this is the first in the series, and the second one, The Little Gray Girl, is even spookier and depressing as all get out. So, I would say fun, but it's like not fun. There's some serious things happening, and there's this a constant fear that like we're not going to make it in time, or something's going to happen to us throughout this book. But it is truly a creepy middle grade, in my opinion. It's a fantasy, and it's nice at times, but I remember being really impressed when I read it. Graphic novel pick would be Spectacle, and this follows a woman who works at a traveling circus, and basically her sister has been murdered and is a ghost and speaks to her sister through this ghost. They are trying to solve who murdered her sister because her ghost sister cannot remember. So they're trying to figure all this out, but there are other mysterious things happening as they're traveling as well, and it is the overall artwork is beautiful, and I love the overall storyline, and I do believe that the third volume came out last year, the third and final volume, so if you wanted to binge it as a series, there you go. And my manga recommendation would be The Girl from the Other Side. I haven't finished this. I've only read a few volumes of this, but really enjoyed the art style. The art style is really creepy, and this is about this kind of like monstrous looking figure who is taking care of this young child and doesn't really know how to and wants to return her, but there is very obviously a reason that this young girl was left with him in the first place, and we don't really know why, and it's building up to why and what he is going to do and why does he look the way that he looks. So the artwork's really beautiful, and it's a really quick read. Yeah, those are my spooky, not so spooky recommendations. Let me know what some of your favorites are. I would love to know as I am preparing my October TBR for all the readathons that are going to be happening. But yeah, I hope that you all have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.